Today we are talking about very big news that affects millions of people in the United States. This news is about SNAP, which is also known as food stamps, and how the rules are changing starting October 2025. If you or your family get SNAP benefits, or if you get money from SSI, SSDI, or VA benefits, you need to know about these updates. Many people are worried about food prices, monthly checks, and how they will manage. That is why it is very important to understand these new rules in simple words. So, let's break it down step by step so that everyone can understand what is happening, who will be affected, and what this means for your life. Before we begin, I want you to do one thing. I upload videos every day about Social Security benefits, SSI, SSDI, VA payments, and SNAP updates. I always explain in very simple words so you can understand everything clearly. If you don't want to miss your payment updates, new rules, or any surprise increase, then subscribe right now and press the bell icon. The next update could be about your own check, and you should be the first to know. So, hit subscribe now and stay ahead. SNAP is a program that helps low-income families, seniors, and people with disabilities buy food every month. It gives a monthly benefit that is loaded on an EBT card, and people use it like a debit card in grocery stores. For many families, SNAP is the main way to put food on the table. But now, in October 2025, the government is changing some of the rules about who can get SNAP, how long they can get it, and what conditions they have to meet. These changes are part of a new law called the One Big Beautiful Bill Act. This law was passed earlier in 2025, and many of its rules are starting to take effect this month. That means October 2025 is a very important time for people on SNAP. One of the biggest changes has to do with work requirements. Right now, there are special rules for people called ABODs. That means able-bodied adults without dependents. These are adults who are between certain ages, do not have children depending on them, and do not have a disability. Under the old rules, ABODs could only get SNAP for 3 months in a 3-year period if they were not working or not in a job training program. But they could be exempt if they were older, if they had a child, or if they had a disability. Starting in October 2025, the rules are getting stricter. The government is saying that more people will have to follow the work requirement, and fewer people will be exempt. This means if you are an adult who is not disabled, does not have children under a certain age, and is not working at least 80 hours a month, you may lose your SNAP benefits after 3 months. Another big change is about age. In the past, people who are 50 or older were often exempt from work rules. But now, the age is going higher, which means some people between 50 and 60 may no longer be automatically exempt. That can be very hard because many people in their 50s or early 60s are not able to work full-time, but they are not officially disabled either. They may have health problems, but not enough proof for SSI or SSDI. These people could now be forced to meet work rules to keep SNAP. There are also changes for people who take care of children. Before, if you were a caregiver for a child under 18, you could be exempt from work rules, but now the cutoff is lower in some states. That means if your child is 15 or 16 years old, you may no longer count as exempt, and you could be asked to work or join a program to keep your benefits. This is very difficult for single parents, who may already be struggling with childcare, school schedules, and health costs. For veterans, there is also bad news. In the past, some veterans were exempt from SNAP work rules, but now, under the new law, that exemption has been cut back. That means some veterans, especially younger ones who do not have dependent, may now have to meet the 80-hour work requirement just like other adults. This is very upsetting for many veterans because they serve their country and still need support. Now, let's talk about people on SSI, SSDI, and VA benefits. If you are officially disabled and get SSI or SSDI, you are usually exempt from work requirements. That means these new rules will not directly affect you because you already qualify as disabled. But the changes may still affect you in other ways. For example, the government is also changing how SNAP benefits are calculated in the future. Right now, the amount of SNAP money you get is based on something called the Thrifty Food Plan. This plan is supposed to reflect how much it costs to buy food for a healthy diet. In the past, this plan could be updated to increase benefits when food prices went up. But now, under the new law, those updates must be cost neutral. That means benefits cannot go up unless something else is cut. In simple words, it means your SNAP money may not rise as fast as food prices in the future. So even if you still qualify, your benefits may not be enough to cover what you need at the grocery store. There are also changes in how states run SNAP. States will now have to share more of the costs if they make mistakes or if their error rates are too high. That means states may be more strict when checking eligibility, asking for paperwork, and verifying your income. If you get SSI, SSDI, or VA benefits, you may notice that your SNAP caseworker asks for more documents or proof than before. This could make the process more stressful and confusing. Another big change is that SNAP education funding is being cut. This funding used to help people learn about nutrition, food budgeting, and healthy eating. But now it is being removed, which means less support for people who want guidance on how to use their benefits wisely. So, what does all this mean for real people? Let's imagine some examples. Sarah is 52 years old. She lives alone and she has some health problems like arthritis, but she does not get SSDI. Under the old rules, she was exempt from work requirements because of her age, but now with the new rules, she must either prove she cannot work or she has to work 80 hours a month. If she cannot meet that, her SNAP could stop after 3 months. This means Sarah may have to choose between her health and her food. Another example is James, a veteran who came back from service. He does not have children and he does not get VA disability, but he does get a small income from part-time work. Before he was exempt from work requirements because he was a veteran, but now that exemption is gone. If James does not work enough hours or join a training program, he may lose his SNAP benefits. This feels very unfair to him because he served his country, but now faces stricter rules just to eat. On the other hand, Maria is 60 years old and gets SSDI. Because she is officially disabled, she is exempt from work rules. She will continue to get SNAP. But Maria has noticed that her grocery money does not go as far as it used to. Food prices are higher, and because benefits will not increase as much in the future, she feels more pressure to stretch her dollars. These examples show how the new rules affect people in different ways. Some will lose benefits completely. Others will keep them but feel the impact of rising food costs. And others will face more stress from paperwork and requirements. Now, many people are asking, why is the government doing this? Supporters of the law say it is to reduce costs, prevent fraud, and encourage people to work. They argue that SNAP should not be a permanent lifestyle for able-bodied adults. But critics say these changes will hurt the most vulnerable, especially older adults, low-income workers, caregivers, and veterans. They believe it will increase hunger and make life harder for people who are already struggling. For people on SSI, SSDI, or VA disability, the most important thing is to make sure your status is clear in the system. If you are disabled, you need to have paperwork that shows you are exempt from work requirements. If you get letters from SNAP asking you to join a work program, you should contact your caseworker immediately and show proof of your disability benefits. Do not ignore letters because missing a deadline could mean losing your benefits. It is also important to budget carefully. Since benefits may not increase with inflation, you may need to find ways to stretch your food dollars more than before. Community food banks, church pantries, and local charities may also become more important in the coming months as more people struggle to cover their food needs. Some states may also try to soften the impact of these changes by using state funds or by creating their own programs. That is why it is important to check your state SNAP office website or call your local office to understand how the new rules apply in your area. While the federal law is the same across the country, states sometimes have a little flexibility in how they apply the rules. In the bigger picture, these SNAP changes are part of a larger debate about government spending, poverty, and how much support should be given to people who cannot work or are struggling with low wages. It is not just about food stamps. It is also about what kind of safety net America wants for its people. So, to summarize, October 2025 brings very big changes to SNAP. If you are an able-bodied adult without dependents, you may now face stricter work requirements and could lose benefits after 3 months if you do not meet them. If you are between 50 and 60, you may now have to follow rules that you were exempt from before. If you are a caregiver or a veteran, some of your exemptions may be removed. If you are on SSI, SSDI, or VA disability, you are still mostly protected from work requirements, but you may see smaller benefits compared to rising food prices. Everyone may also face more paperwork, more verification, and less support. This is a very big change for millions of Americans. For some, it means losing the only help they have for food. For others, it means worrying about the future as benefits do not keep up with costs. For many, it means stress and uncertainty. That is why it is so important to understand the rules. Stay informed and make sure you do not miss any notices from your local SNAP office. Even though these changes are happening, remember that you are not alone. Millions of people are in the same situation, and many organizations are fighting to protect benefits and make sure people can still get food. If you are affected, reach out to your local community for help. Stay strong and do not give up. This is the October 2025 SNAP update. The rules are changing and the impact is real. If you are on SSI, SSDI, or VA benefits, check your status, keep your paperwork ready, and stay prepared for what comes next. Food is a basic need, and everyone deserves to have